You afraid, sir?
Worse, I'm rational.
My father believed that iron was meant to unite the realm. I needed to know that there was no other path, and now I do.
Hold to your courage! Hold to your wit!
You must send the dragons to war. Only weeks ago, my lord husband was alive, and the realm was at peace. You might be half the king your father was.
Tread carefully.
Or what?
All who refuse will have their death.
The horrors I have just loosed.
What's up guys, Carmine here, and that was a fairly good House of the Dragon episode. It started off pretty crazy and ended with an interesting original scene where we finally got the girls back together. It wasn't as good as last week's episode, but it's still pretty entertaining, and it moved enough set pieces around to get the ball going for the 4th episode. I'm curious to know what you guys thought, so as always, leave your thoughts down below, and once again, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. It helps out a lot, but for now, let's get into the episode 4 preview. We start the preview with a lord from a stronghold overlooking an approaching army. This is likely one of the many locations in the Crownlands that Cole takes over, or it's the infamous Rook's Rest moment, which makes more sense considering in tonight's episode we saw that Lord Staunton wanted to head back to his castle to raise his banners, and with what we know from the books, it's likely to be that episode. Book readers know exactly what I'm talking about, and for the casual viewers, well, let's just say you guys are in for a nice dance. In the next several shots, we see soldiers loyal to Aegon in green, with men from houses Rosby, Stokeworth, and Darkland, which means that Kristen Cole's strategy from this episode by taking a small force and absorbing armies from the surrounding locations has worked. We then get a scene between Alicent and Aegon. Judging by the final moments of this episode, Alicent is likely feeling conflicted from the realization that she might have made a mistake. So here, she talks smack to Aegon, which will likely make him take flight on his dragon to prove himself, which we see in this preview. This does make sense considering the whole season, Aegon's main thing has been that people see him as weak. Larys' whispers this episode, Otto trying to undermine him last episode, and now Alicent outright disrespecting him next episode will make him want to go out and join the fray. We see here that there's been some battle that Cole and Gwaine have fought where they are battered and bloodied, with Cole beheading one of Rhaenyra's supporters. And then we get an interesting scene of Daemon walking through the halls of the throne room back at the Red Keep. This episode we saw him have weird visions while he was in Harrenhal, and it seems like we'll be continuing that into the next episode. And that makes sense, because during the books, Daemon's movements are kind of hard to keep track of, and the show needs an excuse for why Daemon isn't joining the fight next episode. One of the curious things about this preview is that we're getting a lot of shots of the dragon Meleys, which is Rhaenys' dragon, with Rhaenyra coming in saying, "We must send the dragons to war." For these last few episodes, Rhaenyra has been hesitant to even unleash the dragons on the Greens, but it looks like that will be going away. We then get quick shots of what looks like a battle, soldiers forming up, and Aegon flying on his dragon, like I said earlier, and then Meleys, again, swooping in from the sky. The preview trailer ends with Rhaenyra realizing that the horror she unleashed isn't just for the crown alone, but something much bigger, as we see Aemon on Vhagar during a battle and her father's crown falling in Daemon's vision. So basically we're going to be getting that episode. Book readers know very well what I'm talking about, and I'll be honest, this should feel like one of those dreaded episodes 9 from the original Game of Thrones where everything changes and advances the story forward like none of the episodes before it, and to get it this early makes me wonder what else they have cooking up. We're about to be at the halfway point, and even though it doesn't feel like it, things have moved along at a nice steady pace to give our characters enough motivation and drama to make everything going forward that much more rewarding. So far, the showrunners and writers have done a fantastic job of filling in the gaps in the book to give the characters enough to do when they were absent for a good chunk of the story. This reminded me of the earlier seasons of Game of Thrones where Dave and Dan added or changed scenes from the books for dramatic effect, and it worked out very well, and we're seeing that here with Condal doing his own thing. Hopefully, that works out too. But guys, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. As always, so please be sure to leave a like and comment on the video. It helps out a lot. And be sure to let me know what you thought of tonight's episode. I may include it in my episode 3 review video. But once again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Have a good one.